Good morning from Champery, Switzerland. We're here with Curling Champions Tour coverage of the Curling Masters Champery 2016. We're down to semifinals. We started with 24 teams. 4 are left. We've got semifinals this morning, and later this afternoon we'll be showing finals. And today's semifinal game will be Team Walstad versus Team Edin. Alexander Lindstrom, Magnus Nedregaten, Marcus Heuberg, Stefan Walstad, Christopher Sundgren, Rasmus Verano, and Oscar Eriksson, Nicholas Edin for Team Edin. And that'll be the lineup for today's game. And in the other semifinal, we have Pfister versus Costa. So 3 Scandinavian teams and 1 Swiss team here in the semifinals, and here's a view how they got here from the quarterfinals last night. Walstad decimating De Cruz in a 6-end game, and Edin 6-3 over David Sick from Czech Republic. And my name is Armin Harder. I will be guiding you through this game, and with me I have Sherry Leibrandt. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, Armin.
Thanks for joining us.
Pleasure always to be here, be on the bench here with you.
Thank
Great
you.
learning experience and opportunity.
Sherry, of course, coaching the men's national team from the Netherlands, and also the Champions Tour Junior Program Director, Coordinator, the European Junior Curling Tour. Sherry runs that for the Champions Tour. So a lady with lots of experience and many years of curling experience too. So looking forward to hearing your input for this game.
Looking forward to. We got a couple of really great teams out here on the ice, and they're already started. Leeds have started us off this game. These 2 teams know each other, naturally have played each other quite often, so they'll be searching out some new things. Edin is preparing for the Europeans, so he'll be working on some new strategies, some potentially creating some new opportunities to get some advantages of the teams he knows.
Your team just barely missed out on the quarterfinals last night, going out on the draw shot, I believe. I don't know how much. By how much?
By too much.
By too much?
Unfortunately, the draw shot's always been quite an advantage for us. This weekend it just didn't get us into that playoff spot, so I find that the draw shots, teams really focus on those nowadays, especially with having so much importance with tiebreakers for Europeans and for tour events. You got to make them.
So just to quickly explain, we had 16 groups, 4 groups of 6, and after the 5-game round-robin within the groups, there was a total ranking, and then 1 through 8 qualified through. So we had some ties, and these ties were determined by the draw shots, which they do after each game. A simple draw to the button. It's like a penalty shot. And the closer you are to the rings, of course, the middle, the better. Those points get accumulated. The further you are away from the middle, those get accumulated throughout the games. Your worst draw gets eliminated. The other 4 are averaged.
Yep.
And then they count towards the ranking also.
And some teams have different philosophies. Quite often you'll see the skip throws at draw shot. That used to be the old system. The 1 thrower through draw shots. Preparing for the Europeans, we also, like many teams here, chose to have each player throw 1. So there's a little less experience, a little less familiarity with that execution of that last shot or the first shot in most games. So experience gained, that's the value. And unfortunately, cost us a little bit this week.
We know what we're practicing next week, right?
We know we're practicing draw shots. Yeah, absolutely. The system at the WCF and in the World Curling Federation rules, every player needs in the 4-team roster needs to throw a minimum of 2, 1 of each rotation. So it's a really good opportunity at tour events, but they have the draw shot in the rules because teams actually get to practice it and with that pressure. And it's the best benefit of the tour events is having that the incredible playing field. You're playing out here with world champions and Olympic champions, and a lot of medals out here on the ice today.
We've seen 2 nose hits here back to back. I guess they were supposed to have been clearings or nose hits. I'm not quite sure. Now we're going to see Rasmus Ronald, a new member of the team for Edin this season, replacing Christian Lidstrom. Yes, his brother is playing on the Norwegian team. And they look so much alike. Very hard.
They are twins, are they not?
Yeah, they are twins, yeah. I think I was calling Alexander Christian yesterday.
Good thing they have different color uniforms. Nicholas might be getting in the house saying, "Hey, this is my player, move out." Christian had some good success yesterday with Sweden at the mixed championships.
Winning the silver medal at the World Mixed, and we have a couple of World Mixed players here too. Rasmus Rano skipped the Swedish team last year at the World Mixed and lost the final to Stefan Walstad, who won the Mixed World Championship. So a lot seems to be some mixed going on here. Of course, they're playing the Champery Masters here, so they missed the World Championships this year, which were just finished yesterday in Kazan.
Yeah, congratulations to Team Russia. It's the end of the game here. It's first end. Playing pretty open. Both teams will be searching out a little bit of each other, but also the ice, the conditions. Ice is prepared before every game. Sometimes it changes up a little. Early morning games can be a little different than the evening games. So these teams will be searching that out, getting in the comfort zone.
And then there is a difference, obviously. We've got only 2 sheets going. Usually we would, through the round robin phase, we had all 6 sheets going, and that affects the room temperature and the ice temperature too. So yes, they're testing yesterday to see what it's doing. It's been pretty good conditions here all weekend, I think.
It's excellent. John Heron and his crew have done a really great job preparing the ice. It's very consistent right across the whole rink. You got a few spots here and there, but that's curling ice, and that makes the game a lot more exciting. The stones on some sheets have been a little more challenging for some teams than others, depending on releases.
Release is all important. Need enough rotation when you're playing on arena ice. Pretty aggressive rocks. You can see here, Oscar Eriksson has pretty good rotation on his rocks. So that rock will run out nicely.
And that makes it a little more manageable for the skip to read the lines, and the sweepers also to judge the weight if that's consistent.
So, Edin having the hammer here in the first end, playing yellow rocks, sitting 2 rocks, 2 shots. And Walstad looking for a hit and roll now to over 2. Try and move these a little closer together. And here we see Stefan Walstad been extremely consistent all weekend, really solid play. We covered 2 games, and he didn't give us any 8-end games. 2 6-end games and ones we showed.
This team's been playing together for quite a while now, a few years, I think. And on the tour, they're coming up, and they always seem to be in the mix at the end of the week.
Well, there was a slight error. He wanted to hit and roll over. He ended up just clearing it. Make Edin's job a little easier with his route.
He got his weight up a little too much weight, didn't he? Looking for the roll. Missed the hit. Didn't stay. I'll take that as information for later on in the game and adapt accordingly. But Nicholas is looking pretty good. Scores 2 here. What's your objective when you have the hammer? You want to score 2, force 1 when you don't?
And here we see the 2015 world champion, Nicholas Edin. And I believe current European champion.
Yes.
Which is coming up shortly.
End of November. So we'll be watching games here on World Curling Television. Lots of games will be live feed. This Norwegian team will not be participating. Thomas Olsrud will be.
This morning we are also, obviously we're streaming on Curling Champions Tour YouTube channel also, along with World Curling TV. Plus we're also live in Latvia on national sports channel.
Good morning in Latvia. And
Well, they're not hearing us. They're being.
oh, they're going to get the game later.
Well, no, they're getting it. They're having commentary in Latvian at home. It's being commentated in Latvian.
It's been a nice addition having the growth of curling, and the curling television is definitely making an opportunity for a lot of countries to learn a lot more about the game. See a lot more games that we can evaluate and practice.
And this game will also be presented on ULS, the national channel, national coverage, or free TV channel in Switzerland. And they will hear us in English.
Excellent.
So, welcome to all you ULS curling fans. So fairly straightforward here in this end with this Edin last rock. I think he's just looking for a line that's been played a few times where he knows what the draw weight is. He needs to get full 8 foot. You see here he needs to be better than that red rock that's sitting in the back of the 12 foot to score his 2. Last rock here in the first end.
That's what they're working at. So we want to keep it clean. A little bit frosty, probably for first early draws.
They have been playing on the side, so they have this pretty well the first rock going down the middle of the sheet.
Spur comes out to help. You don't see that very often, so.
Does he have enough? Yes, looks just barely. Maybe. I think so. Well, they're checking it out. It's one for sure.
2/3 will take a look at that and make a decision. That's how the scoring is determined. Umpires don't come in our game. We'll take a double check. And stones are moved, so they've conceded 2 points for Edin. And 1.
And we're back with N2 of the semi-final match between Team Edin from Sweden and Team Walstad from Norway here at the Curling Masters in Champery. 40,000 Swiss francs total winnings, 13,000 to the winner. So I think each team here has 5,000 guaranteed, I believe, to the losers, and the winners of this game have a minimum of 9,000, and the tournament winner 13,000, which will cover some expenses. It certainly won't make you rich when you divide it by 4, but it will help finance 1 or 2 more tournaments, maybe.
Yeah, it helps people. So there's a little extras in that support work, and then in the behind the scenes as well.
I believe it's also the highest cash prize on the European Curling Champions Tour in Europe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this event always very well organized and great venue, and certainly an awesome backdrop outside with beautiful mountains.
When you wake up in the morning, the sun shines out, and the snows on the peaks and mountains. It's really comfortable for players. The accommodation here is awesome. The facility here at the Palladium is really top notch.
Hosted a number of European championships, A, B, and C, over the last 6 years or so.
So here we got a rock up front, and Nicholas comes around it. So
half open. Walstad should be able to get at it, and here we see Alexander Lindstrom. Turn takeout. Sweep it, try and make sure they get past the guard. That looks like it might be wrecking, and it is. It's going to raise that yellow one through the rings. Oh, why did you take that rock away?
It's a free card zone.
Oh, right.
That rock cannot be removed. Cannot be removed right away, so there has to be...
We're still on lead rocks. My mistake.
It's okay. The intention was to play the stone in the house. It overcurled and played the front yellow one. And those front stones cannot be removed from play. That's called the free guard zone. Until after the fourth rock is played. So it goes back and the red stone is removed from play.
No damage done, although that shot rock on the forefoot was definitely makeable.
I found that there's quite a bit of curl at big point, and rocks come across pretty hard. The rocks are active and the houses are active, so if you don't have the line right, racking on guards happens a lot this week.
Well, it's a late movement too. It really starts swinging at the end. This looks like it's curling quite hard.
It's a pretty nice position. It's going to force the opponent to have to start moving things off the front. When you don't have the hammer, you definitely want to block the center line. When you have the hammer, you want to move to the outside as much as possible. So you'll see that the two teams have very different strategies, different expectations of what they want to get from shots. That cleared that up nice.
Great shot in there from Magnus Nedregard. Managed to clear those out of the center area. Rasmus Grano. We've seen a lot of family members curling this weekend. A lot of familiar family names, and Rasmus's sister is skipping a good young ladies team.
Yeah, young and very successful. They
in
can
Sweden. They're an upcoming team out of Sweden. Let's see a race takeout attempt here by Magnus. Great shot with his first one, clearing those rocks off the forefoot. Let's see if he can follow it up with that.
He's hitting hard.
It gets a piece of it and moves it off the center, so that's pretty good. Walstad having the hammer here, but every time they've left that center guard up, and it gives an opportunity for Edin just to go around it again. Oscar Eriksson skipped his own team in 2014 at the Worlds in Beijing. He went to the final, losing that to Ulsrud. Before the following year, Edin moved into the team and took over the leadership, Skip's role.
The rest of Edin's team retired. Frederick continues as their coach, as their team coach.
So half covered here. It's a yellow shot in the forefoot. Marcus Hoiberg. Hit and roll over towards those yellow rocks. First job is to get the shot off the forefoot. He's looking pretty good.
Nicely by the guard. Gets a little nice roll over to the other side. Have buried in behind those yellow ones. Nicholas have to use that now, because otherwise he'll jam. Can't play it open because he'll jam it on the back yellow one.
So with one rock, 3 rocks are out counted. Good shot by Marcus. So the only way that Edin can get at this rock, I guess, is over his own.
He makes that. He loses a shooter, so still sitting 2 stones. A little bit closer. It rolls over a little closer to the center line.
I think it does give opportunity now for
Walstad to get a hit and roll in behind and use that guard that he left there.
And maybe switch from defense to offense finally.
Yep.
But he needs a good roll to do this.
He can potentially roll all the way to the other side. He's got 2 guards up there, so he could use either one of those, depending on where the roll goes.
It's a little too thin, and probably rolling behind that second guard, the corner. Well, looks probably quite open. Yeah.
This is going to go up ahead and take a look at it. Looks pretty open from the hack, whether he's going to deliver that stone. But the sweepers at the back there getting a drink of water. Water pretty dry up here in the mountains. Keeping hydrated during the curling game is really important. Lots of physical activity and physical energy is used sweeping. These guys are all pretty hard-working athletes, spend a lot of time in the gym.
Nicholas Edin through that port between those 2 red ones. Try and take out that Norwegian counter.
Maybe looking for a little inside roll.
I don't think it's rolled enough.
Does change the line, so they'll be have to go in with the other turn to play it.
Jo, det ganske glatt. Ikke dratt så mye her.
So he's going to play with just a nice, easy tap weight. Try and keep his rock in play. He doesn't want to roll into the open because then Edin will be able to just hit it out. So he's going to try and get to the nose of that stone, tap it back a little. Steve for shot rock. Just a little finesse shot here. Great communication with this team. Talking all the way back and forth, all the way down. Looks pretty good coming in.
Very nice shot.
Really nice touch.
Får han inte linje så fryser han är bra. Har isen där ganska exakt. Är det lös?
No, curl enough that he might get to the face of it and push it back.
Nej,
Should be
jag
pretty
tror inte
perfect.
det var gott där. Eller dykt nu från 4-foten. Ja, men nu var det. Du är ganska aktiv, då hängde den ju kvar, men släpper jag som du gjorde så borde du få kall. Bara frysen så är det svår dragning för 2.
Ja.
Helst lite
Edin.
tap, men då måste vi komma nästan lite insida.
Last rock here for him in this end.
Jag försöker spela fart fram, men
Trying to get
har vi inte linje måste det
Norwegian shot rock. Needs to curl enough and just tap that red one back.
Ganska lätt i det spåret nu, va?
Or is this maybe just a freeze attempt even?
Either-
Freeze tap.
Either way, that would be his margin, just to freeze on the nose of it. Make it a lot more difficult for Walstad to score 2.
Bra linje, kommer curla! Ja!
Forcing one would be an
Whoa,
acceptable
whoa,
outcome here.
whoa! 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 Nej, nej! Japp, japp, japp!
Looks like the line's pretty good.
Brilliant. It's 2 nice shots back to back with Skip Stones here. Stays in there for
Now does he have the in-turn hit on the yellow? Oh, it's covered pretty well, isn't it? That's a great shot.
nice high fives. Positive team energy. It's something teams work on really hard to get that communication and that team dynamics. It's a pretty intense sport. Takes all 4 players on the same page to get good success.
Is this just a draw to the button?
I believe he's just going to try and take a little piece of that pin. Needs as much white as he can see. May be trying to come around and just tap that yellow one like he did with his last one, but I don't think you can see enough.
No, it's pretty well. Yeah, it's overburied. Might be just trying to come off the yellow one on the back of the 4-foot and roll in and try to catch a piece
Get
of
the
the
roll
button.
in off the 2 back ones.
Yeah.
It's got pretty good weight, so it's definitely not a draw.
No, that's not going to curl in well.
Concedes 1 more point.
Steal of 1 here in the second end for Edin. And that means the Swedish team takes a 3-0 lead after 2 ends of play here in Champery.
Topp 4. Linjen är bra.
So we're back here with end number 3. Steal of 1 in the second. Certainly gives control now to Edin, and we'll have to see how Walstad and his team respond. I think this is probably the first time, certainly, that we've seen that Walstad has been behind, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds to this.
Yeah, definitely had some opportunities and created some potential in that end. Team Edin had some good execution, great run back with the Oscar shot to get a roll into that play, and then managed to get that draw in a really nice spot. That little tap, nice touch. Opportunity was quickly gone.
A great shot for Edin with his last one to set that steal up. Very precise.
A little update over on our other sheet, Team Fister versus Kolstedt. Pfister scored 1 in the first end with the hammer. Costa has blanked the second end, so he retains the hammer going into the third. And they're just at lead rocks at the moment, starting that third end, so both games are running out at the same time schedule.
Pfister made a pretty great shot with his last rock in the first end because he was in big trouble. Finns were
Attack.
buried with 2 at some point there, just after the third rocks were finished.
They've had a great performance here this week. They just lost out the Swiss Championships last week.
Some of the trials for the Europeans.
Yeah.
Swiss Championships will be in February.
Sorry, the European Championships.
Yeah.
Team de Cruz will be representing Switzerland at the Europeans in November. Pfister will continue to work and has come here with determination to keep driving forward to earn that world berth. Great teams competing here in Switzerland. It's always a great opportunity to bring teams over here to play. A great network of teams. Lots of competition, really high level. Done some good work in the Swiss department. Harmon.
Thank you. Nice little roll there from Rasmus.
They definitely got their accuracy on the ball this morning.
Yep, they're firing in all cylinders, the Swedish team. It was interesting to see Rasmus in the first games in Baden. That was his first venture into the competition level with Team Edin. And he looked a little bit nervous. That was quite the shoes to fill there. Christian. But he seems to have adjusted quite well now. It's going very well.
And the team is learning him as well, so they were also obviously, a lot of confidence in the team, of course, but change one player in a lineup, and second is a really key position. It really determines what your strategy is going to work or whether it's not going to work in your end plans.
When you're coming from the outside and filling a
spot
from a world-class team, it's pretty daunting, I would believe. He seems to have adjusted quite well.
They have a lot of support coming from Pia Lindholm as well, the national coach in Switzerland, and their own team coach, Frederick.
Sweden.
So, in Sweden. That's right. So a great network of highly experienced players guiding them, help that transition of players and transmission of a team on the behind the scenes, as well as Nicholas leading the team on the ice.
Angle, take out. Just missed it. And he's just getting into deeper trouble here. This allows Edin to throw another guard up front to protect that rock that's just biting the top of the forefoot. A little unlucky there with the last Norwegian rock.
It does roll a little to the left, making a little more opportunity for the future. Unfortunately, he doesn't roll right out of the way. Still leaves the guard up there so it can continue building.
Did he leave a hole? I wonder if there's a gap that he can get through there.
I think they'll probably try it, and if they pick off either of those front guards, it'll be acceptable.
I don't think that hole is big enough to get through, so maybe it is.
They got to time it just right.
Pretty precise. Either way, might be able to remove both guards if he tries it. Is he trying to navigate through that hole? No, it's curling.
Might have been more successful playing with really hard weight.
Yeah, the weight was, I think the weight was a little bit down. If you're going to hit those guards, make sure you move them.
Yeah.
And he's just getting into deeper trouble here now.
Samma, nu är det betydligt tajtare. Vi kan ta den samma höjd nu, men ta lite mindre is bara, tror jag.
Weight selection on shots is really important. You have to look a little bit ahead to know what stones might be able to come into conclusion for you if you are not completely successful with the option A.
And this really affords the opportunity here for Oscar Eriksson to really lock this one up. Lots of protection out front now for that rock in the forefoot.
Really good clarity there by Skip Nicholas Edin, indicating for the sweepers where exactly he wanted that stone to go. And sometimes this game is really a game of centimeters and inches, and putting that in the ideal placement makes less opportunity or less options for the opponent to have an out. Indication between the sweepers and the skip is really important for communication.
Oh, and he gets it enough to move it off the forefoot area. But I'm afraid the way to the forefoot is fairly cluttered. I'm trying to get in there now. It's not so easy.
They're going to continue to guard up the area, give less opportunities to get in. A couple of reds they could maybe tap back, run back. It's not your high percentage shots generally.
I'm not sure if I think he's indicated a guard up front for Nicholas Edin. Could draw in and go behind the guard on the left-hand side. Put a second shot into play. I think they're looking at plugging this hole.
Found this week sometimes weight was made quite a difference on your lines. If you threw a guard, it was one ice. If you were throwing it a little bit heavier, you really had to ice it different. So they have to be sure what they want to do here.
Looks like they're going in. No, they just let it die out there, so I was trying to plug that hole. Get close enough to the house, maybe they can raise it later.
65 ser du altså. Det er nesten 70. Ja, med riktig fart så gjør det det.
You said you got the run back on those red ones. Nadine definitely blocked off the forefoot for a straight come around to use those center guards.
He's going to have to try something here. He's trying to navigate through that hole. Is that hole big enough? Again. Yeah, there is a hole there. And this one's a little bit bigger than the last one. The question is, can he keep his shooter if he goes through there? Let's see here. In turn, trying to navigate that port. You can pick it out. Needs to come through between those, that yellow and that back red.
You can maybe see about half, eh?
Yeah, the question is can he keep his shooter? Gets through that.
Such hard finish at the end.
And this is curling hard. Well, that didn't help him. Maybe he got fortunate on the roll behind that red, the yellow guard.
ligger den där laddad förresten på nollan? Ja. Du kan garda båda då. Alltså, ge han det här hålet och chappa för ett är ju inte värdelöst. Nollan känns ju nästan sämre. Det känns som att försöka garda båda, men den här är ju automatisk. Det här är ju inte lätt nolla.
You got yellow onto red. Might be the saver for the
Det här är ju
Norwegians.
ändå alltså, gaddar vi den här skjutningen så clearingen här är ju chapp. Alltså det ska mycket till att rulla av där. Jag gillar garden, jag försöker täcka en fris av gul där. Ja.
Edin trying to figure out how he can block both shots off.
Bara lite mer is, men... Ja. Ja, det är bra. Jag sätter den lite mer aggressivt, men...
And there's really nowhere to go for him to draw something in that he couldn't potentially risk leaving another opportunity.
Så det är någon balansgång där fyrfotskanten kommer in på det som kallar det. Det är risk att den här hänger, men täcker bara mitt på håret.
Just trying to plug that gap.
Lite mindre förresten.
Protect that yellow rock now. Nicholas Edin, last rock here for him in the third end. Trying to steal another point. Trying to keep it straight.
Getting a little bump here off the top yellow one and then blocking a little bit more of a hole. That's a really nice outcome.
I don't know. I think he set up the drag a little bit better now. I think there's a way to that yellow one. Yellow onto red. He moved it a little bit closer so that drag effect is there. That means if he hits it on the nose, he should be able to get it. You have to hit this rock on the nose with should be able to move that red one right back onto the yellow.
Drag effect is a really interesting phenomenon with curling stones. There's a running band when it hits. If the two stones are hit, they act like one. Angles and lines, eh?
Stefan Walstad here in a bit of trouble down 3. Needs to bail this one out just to stay in the game. And he gets it
Beautiful.
perfect. So he could have hit it harder and maybe blanked that in, but takes 1 point, and the Norwegians are on the scoreboard. The score now 3-1 after 3 ends of play.
Fireren min da. Jeg liker fireren min. Jeg tar den. Jeg prøver å få litt mer tenning og veldig. Selv om det kanskje er kunstig på luft opp. Ja. Ja, ja.
Ener først, eller? Er det 20'eren?
Ja, jeg spiller 7'eren.
Ok.
To.
Vil du ha 3 eller 1? Bestem dere.
Ja.
Linja er bra.
And we're back with Curling Champions Tour coverage of the Champery Masters here in Champery, Switzerland. We're in the French-speaking part of Switzerland in the Alp Mountains. About a 45-minute, half-hour drive east of Lake Geneva. What a pretty spot it is.
Absolutely beautiful location. Great people. Really friendly atmosphere here at the rink and in the community around it. Thank you very much, City of Champery, for hosting this great event and making all the athletes feel really comfortable and really welcome to come here and play. Always a lot of volunteers participating in this event. With the ice crew in the background, helping out with...
They put on a great cheese raclette every Friday night for this event.
They do.
Wonderful wines in this region too. Not that we've had any of those.
Here in the winter, there's also some really great skiing in the neighborhood.
200 kilometers of skiing. What do you call them? Lanes or
Pistas?
Pistas. 200 kilometers in the Port du Soleil region.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. If you get an opportunity to come and visit here, whether you come down and watch the Curling Master Champery for the weekend next year, or come in the summer, lots of hiking, mountain biking, paragliding. Had a couple paragliders land just down by our house last night. And they're really nice to see yesterday afternoon, coming down into the valley. Lots of activities. Here at the center, they have a climbing wall, swimming pool, arena, curling rink.
Christopher Sundgren drawing second rock into the house. Walstad trying to steal, puts up 2 center guards. So we've got lots of rocks in play already. 4 rocks played, 4 rocks in play. And Magnus will try and draw around the center guards here and get one into the forefoot.
Another blank end in the Fister Costa game. A few more rocks in play to start this end, so we'll see how things bewildered up on that end. We'll keep you posted as it continues. Nice come around by Walstad over there on sheet on our feature sheet. Nicholas will now start removing some of these center guards, create some open space. Again with the hammer, he wants to keep this control zone, this scoring zone in the forefoot a little more open.
Rasmus launched that rock. That was coming down with quite a bit of weight.
Remove both guards, so
yeah, open it up.
It's a really great shot.
Den er inn. Spill vanlig.
Ja. Jeg gikk rett der I stad.
So you're going to throw a double here and try and remove both of these yellow rocks.
Okay.
At least move the one and roll over.
Edin having the hammer here in this end, the last rock advantage.
Magnus Notgaard throwing second stones for Tim Walstad. World mixed champion last year.
Didn't quite hit it thick enough. Oh, yes, he did. Oh, very nice shot.
Really nice double shot. So here we are. Rasmus Rana.
Norwegians are lying 3. There's the top one inviting. There's a double opportunity here, though, for Rasmus. Gets one. Oh, and just misses it. So.
A little bit too thin. Didn't quite curl enough. Last year we would have seen them sweeping hard to make that curl.
Eli.
The new WCF rules have introduced a new pad. You'll notice all the teams have the same color of brush pad on their brooms, a nice mustard yellow. That is now standard in World Curling Federation rules, and Tour supports those. So teams are all now required to play with the same pads. It's really been a really positive solution and compliments to all the governing bodies that made that and participated with the studies in order for that to happen.
As that rock, unfortunately for the Norwegians, comes up quite a bit short. Needed to be in the house. Walstad was looking to try and force Edin into one here. Oscar Eriksson. So those pads are just less aggressive than the material that was used last year. Is that right, Cherry?
Well, there was lots of variety coming out last year. It was seemed to be a little bit of a game. Created some hot moments for different teams when they played each other out there.
It's
the
brush
equal
effect on the ice that was causing the problems.
It's definitely equaled the playing field a lot more, and brings throwing back to being having to be a little more accurate. Communication with skips and sweepers more accurate.
I wish you could compare the issue to what Formula One went through a number of years back with their tires.
Absolutely.
Different kind of grips and the effects that they were having, and the disadvantages and advantages that it was giving certain teams. This has neutralized the issue somewhat.
I think the spirit of the teams in competition is also a lot more positive. They're not looking at each other about what they're doing, what they're not doing, and who's doing what and who's not doing what. I think it's been a really positive, and players have really accepted the situation, and I think the players themselves kind of encouraged the situation to be changed. Manufacturers have also participated really well, and compliments to all of them for continuing to supply the teams and support the teams and the teams they support. So, great step in the spirit of curling.
I think it's an issue that every sport has as technology advances, all within the framework of the rules. Nobody's done anything outside of the rules.
No.
Just taken advantage of the technical advances, but sometimes technical advances do have a larger impact than maybe is desired. So then you gotta
find a balance,
rein it back in again.
Yeah. I think without a question it's brought a lot of attention to the sport and a lot of realization that it is a competitive sport. And
the brooms are a technical instrument that have a serious effect in our play and not just something that looks funny.
Yeah. It's not the swish, swish, swish going in the kitchen. No, it's these athletes are working really hard to make this effective, and compliments to the teams that have been making them work really well for themselves. It is an awesome skill. Sweeping effectiveness and endurance both really make this game what it is today.
So good draw behind that corner guard there. Edin, I think he can see part of it, so he might be able to pick it out.
No one to take that and keep his shooter. Roll across the house and change the shot outlook for Walstad with his last one.
With the ice that he's indicating, it will be a slower takeout. So that's exactly what he's trying. Sharing.
Just as ice a little bit from the hack when he sees exactly what he can see. And
Nicholas has a very low delivery style that's right in behind the rock.
Very flexible.
Just makes past.
Just past the guard.
Doesn't even get a roll.
Maybe a little bit softer than maybe they were expecting, and curl a little harder. But he does keep a shooter, so this gives him an opportunity for 2. Walstad does need to remove this stone. Last stone from Team Walstad. He rolls out. Nicholas just to be throwing this through the house, and maybe he's going to take a look to see if there's something to split up there. But just blank this end off and continue on to the next.
So last rock here in the 4th end for Edin, and it's just a straight throw through. Keep the hammer going into the 5th. That means the score remains 3-1 for Edin over Walstad at the halfway point.
Er det litt sånn at den brikken som vi hadde i starten, kommer litt tilbake med de steinene her, eller? Ja.
Deras hade också en liten sån där.
Men gjennomgangsmelodien at de fleste steinene gikk litt masse? Ja. Kjør på Edin. Vår tur.
End number 5 here at the Masters in Champery. 3rd event on the Curling Champions Tour. What's your next event, Sherry, with your boys?
Next event, we're going to Bern. Not on the tour, unfortunately. But an opportunity to play lots of games with some good ice, and that'll be our last stop before we go to the Europeans. And then after that, it'll be January Perth Masters, and Germany for and up in Hamburg for the event there, and then into a new event that started last year in Aberdeen.
We will be having coverage from Perth and Hamburg. Lots more CCT coverage to come throughout the season.
Yeah, it's a really great tour. There's so many, lots of great tournaments. Seems to concentrate a little bit in Switzerland in the fall, and the spring heads over to Scotland, and junior tour has also 5 events.
We've got one currently going on in Oslo.
Up in Oslo next weekend in Prague. It's a new event that started last year.
We had the European Junior Curling Tour winner from last year participating, and gives them entry to, as the winner of the tour, gives them entry into some of these top Masters events, and they've taken full advantage of that.
Absolutely. They're getting some really great preparation heading into their new season.
That was Team Lautenbach from Luzern, Switzerland.
Yeah, we've seen Rana's team also came through the women's a couple of years ago with the junior tour winner, got into a women's event, and look at the success they're having now.
They're doing really well.
Yeah, lots of teams coming out of the tour event, really starting to compete in the men's and women's events. And we're seeing teams at a younger Kyle Smith also came through junior tour. Really top junior team. Ran it in this team. Oscar Eriksson played junior tours.
Well, so did Edin.
Yeah.
80%.
Fister.
Coming out of the tour. Tour's been around for about 10 years now. Close to it.
Creating a lot of opportunity. Nice competitive field.
Two nice draws there from Christopher Sundgren. In behind those long center guards. And a really good position there for the Swedish team. Norwegians have their work cut out for them. Oh, look at this. Very nice. But did it bury enough? Magnus, pretty pleased with that.
And he should be. Sits in front of the tee line, so that's really ideal.
I think
And
those
just on the
guards
tee line.
might be covering it enough too. It's a nice line there of rocks. And Edin now going after the long guard with Rasmus Rana, who seems to be quite specialized at these clearings.
This is a skill he's actually having to learn a little bit more of. Comes as a skip.
He's a skip, yeah.
So
I was never any good at clearing.
he has been putting a lot of time into practice. Practice these shots a lot.
It's quite an adjustment for a skip who tends to have to throw finesse and multi-weight shots. Of course, he's playing for a skip that's renowned for those precise, heavy takeouts. Nicholas Edin, certainly a specialist in that. But Norwegians have something going here now. They got a nice rock on the button.
And a center guard.
Yeah, and center guards up. Have a chance to cover this up very nicely. And I think they need to make about 6 more perfect shots in a row here to protect that.
And those Yellowstones of Team Sweden. Edin's is actually working as a guard at the moment also as a guard for Norway.
But they can quickly turn into
advantages, yes.
There's a bit of an angle on the front now. I think he'll probably end up playing the long guard again. I'd like to move a few rocks around, not just clear the one off, I think.
Risky is if he gets too close to the nose of that yellow one, the red one, he leaves his yellow at the front, and he doesn't want to do that either. Wanting to clear some of these red rocks. Top one's okay. He gets more than one, that's a bonus.
Some heat on it. And he just gets the one. And I think Walstad will just keep. No. Looking at some other options. And I think he has to replace that guard again. Got to protect that somehow. Those rocks, those yellow rocks, aren't lined up good enough for to get on that red one. I think they're definitely an advantage right now for the Norwegians.
Yeah. If they were, Nicholas would have used it in the last shot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's drop another guard.
Want to be long enough. Got to be over the hog line though. Guys, got to work this. Got to get it over and just barely. Oh,
Oh, maybe not. Oh,
Oh no. That's the error you didn't want. Oscar Eriksson now able to attack that second guard. Maybe run it back. The yellow. He's cleared it.
that was a really unfortunate error for Team Walstad. That's a stone that definitely needs to be in play. You got a lot of margin, even if that's tight up front. That's okay. It's got to be over the hog line. I have an update for you on our other semifinal game here from Champery. Costa and Fister. Costa has scored 2 in the 4th end, so they take the lead 2-1. Fister gets the hammer now in 5. A couple rocks already in play. They'll be trying to get something going, get their 2. We got 1 red rock in play. We're going to split up the house and keep you updated. Feature game is Nicholas Edin versus Walstad from Norway.
Good looking guard there from Marcus Hoiberg. That's covering nicely right on the center line. Edin forced now to remove this. He can't drive that guard right back onto his yellow rocks because they're not lined up right for him. Oscar Eriksson. So he's going to have to hope for another mistake for the Norwegians to have any opportunity, I think.
And they're getting patient.
Oscar's going to have to, or Stefan Walstad's going to have to make sure he doesn't allow. You can see part of that red rock on the left-hand side. He's got to make sure he's got that covered. Because you know, Edin with his last rock is just going to pick it if he can.
Yeah.
Because he could see enough of it. So he's going to make sure that guard is covering, taking that shot away. Any opportunity Edin sees now where he has a shot at that, he will.
He will take it.
He will take it. And he won't miss it. Probably. Looks a little warmer. Don't want to be too close to the house either.
Drag that kid in the right position, the right line.
It's got to at least get to the center line, if not more. I don't think he's got enough there. Well,
Maybe should have been sweeping that a little bit earlier to make sure it covered the right side of the stone. Bill's just still looking at the front to see if he can work those around. If he can work them around, I guess it's an opportunity for 3 points, but
he hits this about a quarter of that top one on the right-hand side. He might be able to drive it back onto that red. There is enough separation there.
I think he's just going
This is what we were talking about earlier, or not, just 2 rocks ago. You can see that rock, and I think Edin picked that cleanly. I'm not sure which one he's doing, though.
They didn't really clearly indicate that. I'm sure and if your Swedish is good, you might have heard them discuss it and make that decision. Sweeping it hard.
Yeah, he picked it cleanly, and this is the danger that not being able to cover that on the right-hand side. So 2 errors there, and guards by the Norwegian negates that great shot from Magnus. And that was tricky shot here. He's got to bury this again because the Swedish team has the hammer. And they're sitting 2 right now behind that guard. I think anything more than a 2 here is pretty well game over.
6. 6. 8. 7. 8. 8 är greit. 3. Litt fram. Litt fram.
Is he going to get it by?
Just rubs it. It's a little heavy, so they obviously talked about the fact that it was
The sweeping
too
there
much
wasn't
weight.
very good at all, actually. It didn't work that. I was worried it was too heavy. Laid off it. It's wide open. Opportunity for 3 here for the Swedish team in the 5th end. And it'll be a tough one to come back on. Nicholas Edin, chance for a 3. Pretty well put this game away. And he makes the shot. A score of 6-1 now after 5 ends of play here in Champery. So a couple of errors in the 5th end on guards. Actually fairly simple and straightforward shots, Sherry.
Yeah,
But they
I think
needed
so.
they needed to come because you can't make mistakes like that against an Edin team. And he took full advantage of it. Scores a big 3 and boy 6-1. 3 more ends left.
Knowing what your rock placement needs to be and where your margins are for what side to cover to leave an opportunity or not for your opponent. It's really important to communicate from the team all the way down.
Yeah, we're talking
Centimeters. Yeah.
here. Not there wasn't much. Yeah, even the sweeping on the last rock from Walstad wasn't ideal.
They could have kept that going a little bit longer and got a little more of the cover. It would have made the shot from Nicholas a whole lot more difficult. He would have had to make different choices.
Yeah, it's fatal to rub on that front guard or that front roster. Couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So throw through here from Christopher Sundgren, of course. The Swedes not wanting to have any rocks in play.
Any stone in play at the moment is an advantage for your opponent. I wonder why he doesn't want to just put more rocks in the house and score more points. At this level of play, it's a strategic advantage to not have the stones in play. You don't need to score more. You just need to secure a win at the moment. They will continue to just eliminate red stones.
Alexander Lindstrom, 2 nice guards, equally spaced.
This is the time clock running at the back. In the playoffs, teams work on time clocks here. It's also a really great opportunity for them to practice European Championship play.
Oh,
That was a
miss.
big flash.
Rasmus. There. You won't be pleased with that one. How do you explain those shots?
I think it's just
Sherry,
a lack of...
we see that every once in a while, or
Vill du ha
You
treeren
do.
eller
well,
fireren?
more often than not, maybe.
Maybe too often. I think it's a lack of concentration. It should be your routine shot. You kind of get the idea that it's routine, so this should just work. And you
Does the
don't
score
quite get the
factor into
focus. I think when you have tighter score line, your concentration is definitely higher. Your focus on the shot and the expectation of the shot and outcome of it. Yeah, it's a long game. It's 2 hours out there with high intensity and physical and emotions. You got to take a break sometime. And this is where the level of experience really shows. Every player does it. They just have to keep in mind that it can happen to any of them, and put good positive attitude and stay on the mission.
I never missed those peels like that.
I can't imagine. Never from up here anyway, hey Armin?
No, I always nosed them.
Well, on a stat sheet, that's just as bad, so... You get one rush removed from play, you still get a 2. Here you get a 0.
Opportunity number 2 here for Rasmus. I'm sure he's not going to miss it twice in a row.
He's going to move them both out of play. There you go, Skipper. Making up for my flash there. He does stick his yellow into play, but it is off the center, so... A position where he'll be able to double peel those off again if he needs to.
Trying to draw around the guard. Lots of room. Let's curl some more.
Get a little bump off that one and roll in behind. Just straight draw. I think it's still open a bit. I think Dean can choose to clear off the guards here or play that one in the house. And he is leading 6-1 here in the 6th end, the semi-final.
Tar du tjockt så tar man röd, kan aldrig pricka egen gul. Vi kan sticka den precis på röd där. Om du missar tjockt. Det är 3/4 för att sticka där, allt. Behöver tunn halv eller 1/3 nästan för att den ska bli kvar.
Lots of communication, a lot of discussion about what they want to accomplish with this.
I think the way those guards are lined up, a good opportunity to remove both guards and lose the shooter at the same time. Oscar's also not going to miss hard takeouts. Yeah, and there we go. The Swedish team is very good at this, protecting those leads, showing those hard takeouts.
This big peeling is something Oscar also had learned. He's also come out of juniors as a skip. Played juniors against my guys, and he was known in juniors as the professor.
There, doesn't look like a professor.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of strategy in his head. I think him in combination with Nicholas is a really good. He sees the game very interesting in a very interesting way. He had a really good, really powerful reputation as a junior skip. Lots of success. Junior Worlds.
And slides into the rings. I'm not sure if that's what they wanted. I think it was just a guard attempt. Trying to guard up his own, but it overcurled and was long. So the solid play from this Norwegian team that we've seen all weekend has kind of left them a bit here in the semi-final. Of course, they are playing against a world-class championship team. Nicholas Edin is currently the highest ranked European team in the world.
And they've had a really good success at the start of the season as well. Won a couple tournaments. Always seem to be in the playoffs.
And one of the other favorites did make the qualifiers this year. Thomas Oldsford, 2014 world champion.
He was down in the draw shot party with us.
He was drawn in the draw shot party. Yeah, well, you know, win one more game, you don't need to worry about the draw shot, right?
That's true. We actually lost to Nicholas Edin in our first game in the tournament.
Bit of a sensation yesterday. Nicholas Edin dropped one also, but not to a team you might expect. Dropped a game against Spain, the Spanish team. Those guys thought they'd won the World Championships after that win.
I bet so.
Celebrating last night. I saw some Spanish news report. It was a bit of a sensation at home.
Excellent. That gives you a great feeling, too, when you go out and play World Champion. I saw a bit of the game. There's lots of rocks in play, and Dean probably took the opportunity to work on some different strategies and wasn't quite sharp enough.
Well, even a team that you'd expect to take easily, you can't take lightly.
There's a good lesson in that.
There certainly is. So Norwegians don't have a lot to work with here. One rock in the top of the 8 foot that they're trying to draw around and hide behind, and
looks like they're going to go through the house here. It's pretty
Stefan,
heavy.
looks like the wheels have kind of come off here. Stefan, that's another error.
Little update for you over here on the Pfister Costa game. Pfister scores 2 in end 5, and is now up 3-2. They'll be coming in the 6th end without the hammer. Really nice game over here. Lots of rocks in play. Some good shot making happening.
And we'll be seeing one of those teams in the next game.
Up against
showing
Nicholas
that,
Edin.
well, looking that way right now, unless bar a small miracle.
And
12:30 Central European Time. We will be covering the final here from the Masters Champery CCT competition, and it'll be the winner of what's looking like Edin, certainly going up against either Pfister or Costa from Finland. So Nicholas did slide behind the tee line here with that. So allow Stefan Walstad to draw it down on top of it. And he makes his one. Last rock here in the 6th. But they're shaking hands anyways. I guess that's too big of a hurdle to try and get over. A 6-4 victory for Team Edin here in the semifinal. That puts them in the 6-2. Correction. Yep. 6-2 victory, and that puts them into the final. And they're waiting to see who they face between Pfister and Costa. We thank you for looking in. Sherry, thank you for helping me out here this morning.
Always a pleasure. Great to watch some good curling.
Good insight.
Look forward to seeing the final here.
And we wish you and your team, the young Dutch lads, all the best for European Championships. And we'll be following that quite intently.
Excellent. Thanks, Armin.
So that's it for semifinal coverage here. And we will be back at 12:30 with the final of the CCT Curling Masters. And hope you've enjoyed this game and looking in for the final. Thank you.
See ya.